Hey, spiritual family, how are y'all doing? I hope you guys are still up tonight. I know you guys didn't think I was going to come on here, did you? Tell the truth. So as you can see the title there, um, that's what we're going to talk about tonight, how eating the wrong foods affect us spiritually. Okay, because you guys know I'm still on a journey with my weight. It's an up and down thing, and as you lose weight, you gain weight in different places, and then you kind of go through the thing with your body. But um, in America, we were having a discussion on Facebook, and so I want to know what you all think about it as well, a spiritual family. So in America, uh, like I said, we are guinea pigs to the elite or to the cabal. The people that rules over the government, that rules over us and make our decisions. Without us being without us having our uh, opinions respected or our rights respected. The ones that want to control the masses on the planet. Okay, we've been guinea pigs to these individuals or these groups of people for years. I want to say, even like centuries. It goes way back, whenever slavery started, or like I said, a lot of our people was already here and then some came over. So we're a mixture of all of that stuff, and so basically, they used to breed us uh, back in the day. You have a certain type of individual where they wanted their babies to be strong, big and strong, to do farming and stuff like that. So they would breed our ancestors, they would breed our people. And so the masses, like I said, the cabal, the elite, the those people, they want to continue to have things the way that they are. Hey Darius, how you doing, love? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for stopping in. I'm so glad you're here. Yes, Darius Smith says plant-based is the best feeling. Yes, I'm so glad you got in it. Yeah, I mean, it feels good to me too, but like I said, with plant-based, and you can gain weight too with plant-based, because like my guilty pleasure is bread. So I have to cut back on the bread sometimes, things like that. But it's so much better than eating meat. You know what I mean? And I just don't want to go back to meat, eating meat, being a meat eater. I remember when I was younger, I went vegetarian for a summer, and came back to school, and like I totally had transformed. And it's just that the only reason why I went back to eat meat was because I believed what people were saying, that I needed it, and all of that stuff. And then it was so hard to actually get anything, especially during my time, that didn't have meat in it. So you guys know what I'm talking about. Yes, how you doing, Barbie? Welcome, love. Welcome, and welcome, Luna Zantos. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you. Yes, yes. And Darius says, we just have too many chemicals in our foods. Most countries in the East eat natural and organic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Their skin is clear and are healthier even though they eat meat. Yes, yes. And the meat that most of those people eat in those different countries like that, the animals are grown, they eat from the land. They're not like eating man-made steroids and stuff like that, so even their chickens and stuff is smaller, and you guys know what I'm talking about by now. Okay, so yeah, the chicken and stuff that we have over here are like super sized, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you were even thinking about seriously going on a serious diet to lose weight, you're going to fail because of all of the stuff that they injected in our food that we was eating. And I mean, you can run and exercise and all that, but it's always going to be something. You shouldn't have to work that hard to keep your body maintained. We're not on this earth to work our bodies so hard to try to maintain a healthy weight. It's the foods that we're eating, and that's what we were talking about on Facebook. Is that we've been guinea pigs for years. And during my time, like in the 90s, when the fast food and stuff started coming out, we trusted, the American government. We trusted the people that were feeding us, that we were getting real food. So here we are, we're already working as slaves anyway, 9 to 5 jobs. And then, during our breaks and stuff, we're thinking we're eating healthy, salads and stuff like that. We're not really eating healthy salads, because you have all of that chicken that's not really chicken, or the chicken that's been in those stables and stuff. Not stables even. Well, it's just a manufactured, kind of condition. Like, just Google up, a chicken farm, man-made chicken farm, like, or like what they have in these facilities, rather, not the ones that's organic, but the ones that are in these facilities. It'll make you sick, just to see that, like, wow, I'm eating that. And we can't trust these people. I mean, they're all about the money and stuff. They're not going to tell us that we don't really need to be eating that. And their own people don't even eat that stuff. You ask Bill Gates if he eats at 7-Eleven and stuff like that. Does he let his own children eat stuff like that? I'm surely he would tell you no. He doesn't eat that crap. You know what I mean? So why feed it to us? Even in those other third world countries and stuff, everybody's so slim and healthy and all of that stuff. Because they haven't been like seriously exposed to the stuff that we eat, the American guinea pig, the American people. That's what we are, the American guinea pig, the American people. And so yeah, I mean, so when they do come over here and they see how big we are and stuff like that, and you can tell just from what a person that eats meat. I mean, you can kind of tell because you could just tell, like, with the body, and like I said, we're not hunters and gatherers anymore. We don't need to be eating those big old steaks and stuff like that. We just don't. And I don't eat meat anymore, but like I said, my guilty pleasure is bread and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get more on eating instead of like white bread, which I love. I'm trying to get more into eating the grains, the sprout bread, which I was doing before. So now I'm going to do that now. But yeah, it's so important because it messes with us spiritually, family. How are you going to help people? How are you going to spread your message and stuff like that if you're too sick to do it? You know, some of the greatest preachers and ministers and spiritual people back in the day, they died like premature deaths because they were eating a lot of pork and stuff, high blood pressure, diabetes, all of that stuff. It messes with us spiritually. It doesn't matter what color you are either. It's the human body. We're not supposed to be eating that stuff. And if anything, not on a regular basis. We don't, and if we are going to eat it, make sure that it's properly slaughtered or whatever. You know what I mean? Just like a kosher or whatever, a clean thing. But like for me, in my temple, my body, I don't want meat anymore, and I try to avoid it at all costs. I remember one time I ordered like a salad, and our orders had gotten mixed up, and somebody had ordered on their order, they ordered like four times the chicken, four times the meat on there. And I was looking at that salad like, dang. I wonder, is that a bodybuilder, that ordered that? But it was a lot of chicken, and then I'm looking at the chicken like it didn't even look like real chicken. It wasn't like, it was like, they say it's real chicken, but no, it's not real chicken. It can't be real chicken. Real chicken don't look like that because, like I said, I grew up, in the country, and I seen my folks, have to, uh, be around animals being, killed and stuff like that, so we can eat and stuff like that. So I've seen that myself too, and did sacrifices and stuff. So yeah, that's not real chicken. It almost looked like tofu. It almost looked like tofu. Yes, and let me see what you guys are saying in the chat too. Yes. Luna Zanto says, "Hey girl." And of course, Barbie, my number one moderator, she's in here tonight. Yes, and thank you so much for stopping in, Barbie. And Darius says, when I was plant based, no white bread, no refined sugar. Yeah, yeah. And that's what I have to work on myself with my journey is leaving the white bread alone, because that's like, yeah, my thing. So, yeah, I got to, and, bread isn't, I have to eat the right type of bread. That's all what it is. It's not this stuff, because when I first moved here, it was like, I was having pasta, and stuff like that, and I was like, I cannot eat like this, I mean, even though I wasn't eating meat, I still have to be on track with what I'm eating. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, it doesn't matter if it's animal products, if it's plants, like I said, plant protein, bread, whatever, you have to watch it because you can gain weight. There's vegan bodybuilders. A lot of people, they just increase their protein and they bulk up, so, you definitely have to watch it. A lot of people, like I said, they figure just because they go vegan or plant-based that they don't have to do anything, or they think that they're not going to gain weight, like I said before. And yeah, you will, you know, you will. You just have to keep it in moderation and still work out. Yes. Yeah. And Barbie says, I stopped eating beef and chicken. Yes. Good for you, Barbie. Good for you. Yes. Yes, yes, that's good for you, girl. Keep going with it, and before you know it, just like everybody says, you just don't want it. You can do without it. I purposely don't want it. And I know, like the last party that I went to and everything, they were serving, like meat stuff, and I think the only thing that they had was like macaroni salad, or and the guy was like, let me give you some extra macaroni salad. And I was like, nah, don't give me any extra macaroni salad. You know what I mean? Just because I don't eat meat. You know what I'm saying? Because I can still put on weight. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, just make sure you're still eating the same way. But if you just replace the meat with, avocado plants or something like that, yeah, Darius is right. The weight will start falling off. It will. It will. Because I know today I went in my closet and I put on one of my older dresses, and I was like, man, I said, it's kind of like loose down here. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, look at that. Because I remember like it was really kind of tight fitting. And I was like, okay. And so, yeah. And then like I look in the mirror, and I was like, I know I've been eating a lot of pasta. And I was like, yeah. And so, like the weight, fluctuates. So, you definitely, have to watch it with, just because you go plant-based or vegan doesn't mean, to overeat. So my celebration is over, and like I said, I'm back on crunch time. I got my exercise stuff, and got me like my little foot brace and everything, because with the dancing, belly dancing and stuff like that, you're working your feet and stuff a lot. So I got to make sure I protect my self, when I'm dancing and all that. And it's just, yeah, it's just one of those things, spiritual family. But y'all know. And let me see what else you guys are saying here in the chat. And we got Queen Things. Hey, welcome, Queen Things. Queen Things says, hello, kings and queens. I'm new to this channel, just hanging out. Hey, well, welcome, Queen Things. I hope you stick around and keep coming back to join us. Yes. And Darius says, make your bread keto and make your sugar from dried fruit like dates, figs, and berries. Darius, I'm gonna do that. I remember I was actually using dates in my smoothies besides sugar, sweeten it up, everything. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to my dates. Yeah, get my my dates in. Yeah. Yeah, so JD Bailey says plant based isn't good long term. Initially, it is cleansing, then over time, you run into deficiencies. Plants contain anti nutrients, so everything in them isn't bioavailable. Okay, Queen Thing says, I have decided to only eat turkey and chicken, salmon, and seafood. Yeah, that's good. That's good, and they have a lot of plant-based alternatives too for seafood. I'm finding out. I know that they have plant-based fish, like patties or whatever, and fillets, but yeah, I mean, and seafood, like I did eat shrimp all the time, but I had quit eating shrimp like really before I went plant based, I think, but I did. I grew up on, I love gumbo and all that stuff like that. And then since I had went plant based, like if I do make like a gumbo type soup, it's not a real gumbo, of course, but I, take stuff out and put my plant-based stuff in there. But yeah, seafood is good, it's lean, it's not gonna, it doesn't have like a lot of fat in there, animal fats, like, yeah. And JD Bailey says, I have a nutrition background. Oh, that's awesome, JD Bailey. Yeah, so you're a dietitian. Yes. And JD says, when you get the change, look up people who are no longer vegan and vegetarian here in YouTube. Okay, I will. JD Bailey says, I was plant based for 8 years. Wow, that's a long time. And cooked foods that weren't processed junk either. Yes. Darius Smith says it doesn't matter the color, but Black Americans are Eastern people. The stand American diet is not for us, and that's why we get high blood pressure and diabetes. Yep, yep, that makes sense. That makes sense because I grew up in a time where before the fast food boom happened as well, and just looking at old pictures and stuff, like our body types was totally different, from the way that they are now, and I see younger kids during the fast food generation, it was really, really bad because, you saw so many young children getting obese and stuff like that and getting sick and stuff like that for being so young and dying, and yeah, but it was part of the American diet. And A lot of the people who ran the foods, the ones that say they were healthy for us, y'all know they wasn't healthy for us. And understanding now that, I remember like being at work, us getting off work, we're being hungry. This was like 11 o'clock at night, getting off from work, working long hours, and we would go to like Taco Bell or Taco Bueno, and we thought that that was healthy because it was like salad stuff. And I know a lot of y'all watching this, y'all might be laughing or whatever, but seriously, we believed everything that the media was saying to us. We believed everything that the commercials were saying to us. They were saying, get a Taco Bell and get it fresh salad, fresh tomatoes, fresh lettuce, onions, and then like with hamburger meat, you don't have to get that much hamburger meat, get half, like stuff like that, like they even put like fitness people eating this fast food junk. So yeah, a lot of us not knowing that we were doomed from the start. Because the stuff they put in there was bad for our bodies, and they put stuff in there for us to crave it all the time. And then I noticed, like, when I started switching from eating that fast food all the time, and I was just eating like regular stuff, like black eyed peas, cornbread, stuff like that, soups and stuff. I noticed like I wasn't wanting that stuff anymore. And then like I was like, well, why come I'm not eating so much of this regular food? Like I would eat like a bowl of beans or some, homemade stuff, and I would be fine. And then I would like really think about that. And I was like, well, if I eat Taco Bell, it's like I'm hungry right again, right away. Why is that? And I'm like, a salad. This is serious, y'all. Your health is serious, and it affects us spiritually, where we can't even think right. If we keep eating that stuff, we can't even think right. Mental illness, or especially in the black community, just rampant. People don't have to be sick. People don't have to be sick, but they want to keep a lot of people down so that, we can be like a part of these, what do you call that, Darius? So that we can be a part of the system. Yeah, so we could be a part of the system. And they keep making money off our asses. That's pretty much the truth. Like when I look and think about stuff, the stuff that I know now, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I said, like I'm really into eating garlic. I love garlic. I love roots like onions and stuff like that because it's good for you. Like if you got something a little sniffly, something, you take some of that, you're gonna be good. Elderberry. People talk about elderberry. It's good. Sea moss, stuff like that. But that stuff I can tell is good because it's like it puts you in a mind of medicine. Like eat a piece of raw garlic. It's putting you in the mind of it being like medicine-y or pungent or strong, but at the same time, it's nature and it's natural and it's good for you. So, yeah, I mean, I'm so mad about that. I'm so mad that we were lied to all those years. I mean, everybody. And it's not just black people were lied to, everybody was lied to. If you're not a part of these big major corporations that run this stuff, been running this stuff for years and feeding our asses, then you don't count. You're a part of the masses. You're a part of the people that was getting bamboozled and lied to and in the hospital taking all this stuff when we should be eating the right stuff all along. They've been playing us the whole time, y'all been playing us the whole time. That's why everybody is mad. That's why the world is in an uprage and stuff. And people that are watching this, y'all don't have to let this happen again. Y'all don't have to let this happen again. Y'all need to be, we need to govern ourselves. We need to be responsible for what we're doing. And we also need to keep an eye out on what's going on, around us, to make sure that we're good. If you're doing the right thing and you care about this planet, you care about people, and you care about your offspring and stuff like that, then yeah, like I said, you don't have to watch the news all the time. I don't recommend that. Disconnect from the media, okay? Don't listen to it. People with their ideas and opinions, don't listen to it for hours because they're going to have it. Just get away from that and start absorbing positive stuff, positive vibrations, frequencies, like I said, music, positive stuff we're talking about now that's going to help us, that's going to help our family, going to make us think twice about, what we're putting in our mouth, because, I'm just giving my truth, okay, from what I'm seeing. And I'm just saying that as a young woman, as a young black woman in America, okay, like I said, I know there's no such thing as race or whatever, but this country has made it all about race. So please pardon me if I try to address the issue, in a racial way. But we we really, really, really need more education and help with mental health. That's the bait and medical things. So many of our people dying of COVID-19 in the United States. Oop, I said it. There we go. Anyway, but like I'm saying, we need serious people who are on the forefront about us eating right and not eating at church's chicken and stuff like that all the time. That stuff's no good for us. That stuff's not even real food. It's fake food. Yeah, it tastes good. And you can have it, but you can't have it all the time. We just can't have it all the time. We'll be sick and die. And that's what, I try to tell some of my, people that I know, like they suffer from belly issues and indigestion and all that stuff. And like I said, I used to too, because I used to take those antacids back to back, swallow, swallow, swallow. And since I went more plant based and I did quit cut out meat, I haven't had that problem. I haven't had to take any antacid or anything. So, so if there is another alternative where I'm not eating meat, where I can, actually still be healthy and everything like that, then I'm all for it. So keto, if keto is a good thing, then I'll definitely check that out. But going back to eating meat is something that I really don't want to do. And I feel like it's more for spiritual reasons too at this moment. Because, like I said, I'm a reader, I'm a spirit reader, I'm a seer. So I've always been pretty good at what I've done. But, embarking and changing my diet and stuff like that, I'm a whole lot better with my readings and stuff like that. So, and being in tune with my goddess and being in tune with what's going on around me and stuff like that has totally changed, you know, uh, really how I feel. So, yeah. So let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see here. JD, bless you. Thank you for sharing your information here. JD Bailey says, when you get the change, look up people who are no longer vegan and vegetarian here in YouTube. JD says, I was plant based for 8 years and cooked foods that weren't processed junk either. Dara says, it doesn't matter the color, but Black Americans are Eastern people. The stand American diet is not for us. That's why we just get high blood pressure and diabetes. Okay, JD says stretch lots before you dance. Darius says remember your G bombs, greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, seeds. Okay, JD says fake plant-based meals are junk food. It has to be, now that I'm realizing that. Eating real, organic, wild, caught pasteurized meat, seafood would be healthier than that. Darius Smith says vegan is not just the key. You want a plant-based, nutrient-dense diet. Darius says, should you eat meat, let it be grass fed and no chemicals like in the East. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, if a person's going to have chicken and stuff, make sure you're getting it from like farmers market or something like that, because that's what I posted on Facebook, is that I'm going to go to the farmers market and check that out. Yeah. Let's see. JD says, I now eat organic meat and seafood, but no pork. I buy pasteurized eggs from the farmer's market. I use cultured grass fed butter and pasteurized eggs. I am recovering from being plant based for so long. Oh, wow. So it's like did the opposite for you. Queen Thing said, I was juicing for a minute. I'm going to get back to that and add more veggies with my meals. I drink a lot of herbal teas, and spirulina, chlorophyll are good for you too. Yes. JD Bailey says, Darius, long term, no matter how many nutrients with a plant based diet, you can't absorb them all. I was losing muscle mass and constantly having to eat snacks to keep weight on. I'm 5'11 and 150 pounds. Wow, JD. JD says I was losing muscle mass. Wow. Yeah, JD says I was taking quality whole food plant based supplements and herbs too. JD says I'm doing much better now. Was starting to have weird side effects and symptoms. I love ginger. I like ginger too a lot. I have ginger tea all the time, and I love to add my organic lemon juice to it. Love it. You know. Let's see. Queen Thing says, I used to put a lot of pressure on myself because I wasn't vegan. But I'm like, I got to do what works for me. My grandfather lived to be 101 years old. I agree. I agree. We have to do what works for us, at the time, and everything like that. And so everybody's journey is different. Like I said, I know I basically grew up on a meat you know, um, diet, until, I turned a teenager. Then I turned out to be a vegetarian. And I was a vegetarian for like a couple of years. And then I started eating back meat again. And so I've been a meat eater all the way up until like last year is when I really started cutting out the meat. So it's been helping me with the weight loss and everything like that. So I hear what you all have to say. So I'm definitely going to be looking on those videos to see what's going on and see if there's something, like I said, we have to educate ourselves about what we're eating and stuff like that. And everybody's body type is different too. So, yeah. Queen Tings, your grandfather was exposed to fewer toxins in air, water, and food than we are. The amount he was exposed to in his lifetime, we are exposed to multiple times a day. Yes, Queen Thing says that's true. Yes, GD Beatty says eating lots of veggies are important, especially green ones. Lots of water that is structured, spring, alkaline, add lime, lemon, or add minerals. Yes, yes, lemon water, lime water. Darius says, JD, I was vegetarian for a few years, then vegan for a year. I'm no longer that anymore. I do keep a nutrient-dense diet. You can eat the foods, just cook it differently. Mm-hmm. Yes, Queen Thing says that's why it's good to detox fast. Yeah, yeah, I'm learning that too. Like you have to detox. If you don't, the weight is gonna come on. It doesn't matter if you eat meat or not. Really, I'm seeing that. You know what I'm saying? Cause, like I said, your girl loves bread, and I still have to watch it. Like it doesn't matter that you're vegan or not. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So yes. Queen Thing says, I drink infused spring water with thyme or oregano with lemon, lime, turmeric tea. I'm into herbs. Yes, girl, I am too. And I love turmeric tea. It's good for the arthritis, the cracky stuff, the bones, you know. So yes, the turmeric and the only thing I don't like about it is the staining part of it, but I don't mind taking it anyway, when I get it. So, and that's something I need to get some more of is turmeric. But I'm like you too, girl. I'm into the herbs. I like oregano. I like, some cilantro, uh, rosemary, thyme, all of that. All of that. Yes. Love me some herbs. Queen Ting says, I'm into essential oil as well. They work wonders. I mean, you can heal just about anything. Yes, I agree with that. Grew up on oils. Oils, it really, really good for your skin, pains, if you hurt yourself, all of that is good, not just spiritual stuff. Yeah. Truly Jada says, welcome, welcome, Truly Jada. She says, blessings to you. You're going to love the Dallas Farmers Market. Oh my gosh, Truly Jada, are you here in Dallas too? Yes, I can't wait to go. I've already looked it up online, girl. Already looked it up online. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go. You know what I mean? Because, like, I saw it's like the shed or something like that. So I'm definitely going to be taking some pictures, y'all. If I don't make a video or something, definitely going to be showing you guys what I'm seeing and everything like that. And I'm hoping they got like some real good, like fresh fruit, like strawberries or something like that, or good nectarines. I like stuff like that. Blueberries. Like I'm a blueberry child. Like my whole mouth is like all you'll see is like purple, blue. Yes. Yes, Darius says black people take in vitamin D3, 4,000 units per day, vitamin K, vitamin C, zinc, sea moss, elderberry, milk thistle, multivitamin one a day for men's or women's. Let's see. Yes, I take I think it's Kind, but you get them off of Amazon. It's the women's multivitamin. You can get them in different flavors. The one I got is like strawberry, and I take that. And I think that helps like with my skin and everything, because people, they always compliment me on my skin. And, and just because I got a good skincare regimen that I do. And one of these days I'll do it on the beauty channel. And yeah, because I'm real, I definitely try to take care of my skin, the skin I'm in. Yes. Let's see what. Yes. Welcome, beautiful soul, Christy. How you doing, love? Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Yes, yes. And beautiful, she says, great information. Thanks. You are welcome, love. Yes. And Let's see here. Offset Het Haru. Greetings, High Priestess Kathy. I'm vegan. Greetings, Offset. Welcome. Welcome, love. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, I'm so glad you're 100% vegan. I'm trying to get there. And like keep it real. I do eat a little bit of cheese sometimes, but when I can get the vegan cheese, like I like the vegan cheese with the nuts and stuff on there, so made with the nuts, and I like it. It's fine, you know. And Offset Het Haru says, I can't digest meat. Oh, girl. Yeah. Pardon me, y'all. We were disconnected because somebody had to call my phone or messenger from Facebook, whether, and it knocked it out. So, anyway, I'm back. And let me see what you guys are saying here. Um, Queen Thing says we're here to help each other. Yes, we are. Yes, we are, to make our lives better, and so we can live our best lives. Why not? We don't have to be suffering while we're here living. And especially with that religion that tells you to suffer, and you ain't supposed to be worrying about being rich and having money, and it's the root of all evil stuff. But cast that aside. That's a lie. That is a lie. You know, we are here to live our best lives, be our best selves, and enjoy life, and not have to worry about having a meal and paying bills and stuff like that. Like, no, no. Yes. And that's another thing too. Like I said, with what we're eating, how are you going to help the masses or teach people anything if you're constantly sick? you know um it's gonna be hard to do. People are gonna need you and stuff like that. And then if you're having mental illness episodes and issues all the time, you're not gonna be able to deal with people who they have mental issues and stuff too. You know what I mean? So we need to make sure that we're all out here looking out for each other, no matter what. That's how I feel, at least for, the people we care about ourselves, and our offspring. Yes, Darius says ginger and garlic are good. Green tea, black people, let's go back to our herbal roots. We can beat this COVID. Boost that immune system. That media is not telling you that. Yes, I agree. I agree. Boost your immune system. Get your vitamins in. Your hot teas. I made that video, and you can find it on my blog too, about the citrus steam, or the old wives' tale steam, where you put the onion and the garlic and the salt water to make it alkaline and boil it, and then you inhale that. It's aromatherapy, and it'll help clean you out and all that stuff if you're having problems breathing and stuff like that. They don't want to tell you all that stuff, because they would rather you be sick and go to the hospital and pay all that money. Or they're going to, if you can't pay it, they're going to get it off of you or use you as a charity write-off, which is what a lot of hospitals are doing these days, to protect themselves. So, yeah, you have to make sure that you are governing your own temple. Don't trust the government to just do what's right, because they're not. You need to be involved and learn and listen about what's going on, because it affects us. It affects everything. We need to hold not ourselves accountable, but we need to hold people who are governing us accountable. We need to be aware and let them know we're aware, and so they won't think that they can just slide some stuff by us and we don't see it, because we're not having it. We're not having it. We don't have to deal with that, you know. And like I said, I'm not saying not to be careful or protect yourself and be safe, because the COVID is real. I'm not telling. I wouldn't recommend you going out into a large mass of people without a mask. I wouldn't recommend you not washing your hands. I wouldn't recommend, you need to come home if you're around a bunch of people, take a hot shower, or, at least take the clothes off, whatever. Just be safe, just be safe, like you would normally do, and just, be clean with yourself. If you're just doing that, if you're just being clean with yourself and washing your hands and stuff like that, doing proper hygiene, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, and protecting yourself from people coughing on you. Because, like I said, people get sick all the time. And with this stuff, I don't know why they want to track us. That's redundant because diseases and stuff been going on since the beginning of time. All kind of stuff. So I don't want to live my whole life worrying about that dang virus. Okay, I want to spend the rest of my crone years, living life and having a healthy, a healthy mind, enjoying what I'm here, and enjoy my birthright. I want to enjoy what I was born here to do. I want to do what I do, and that's help people too. And and that's how I get my blessings back from it, you know. So I would rather do this. I don't want to have to suffer. I don't want to have to go through a man-made religion where I'm praying to a wall 5 times a day, or I'm doing something that I don't want to do. Not saying that there's nothing wrong with that, because if that's what you do, I'm not really trying to disrespect anybody's beliefs, because I respect that. But I'm just saying, for me as a person, as a sovereign being, a woman, I don't want that. I don't want to have to do that. Okay. I don't want to have to force my stuff on people. You could just see my life. If you resonate with how I live my life, and that's what you feeling, you want to go in and vibe with or whatever, then we can connect on that level. You can follow what I do. Like I told my niece one time, she's like, I want to do this, because she has her own businesses and stuff too. But she's young. She's like in her 20s, so she's embarking on everything. And I told her, I said, just do what you aim to do, until you find what you want to do. Just follow some of the stuff I do, and if it works out for you, good. If it doesn't, then you know, go to someone else and see how they do things. But it's all about making, things your own. You are creating your own life. So that's what life is all about. Don't be afraid of it. Don't feel defeated, like you're not going to ever figure it out, because you will. Eventually you will have some guidance. If you feel people don't understand you and stuff like that, then just tell them, I need some guidance, because I really don't know what to do. People tell me I need to do this, I need to catch the bus. Okay, well, I need to catch the bus, but how in the world do I catch the bus? And then some people be like, well, you don't know how to catch the bus. And people are like, no. And it's like, well, you need to look it up on the internet. Okay, you look it up on the internet. Okay, well, you need to call the people from the bus place. They'll be the ones that really help you, because that's what they're paid to do. But see, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of young people don't know that, because they feel that people are just supposed to tell them, like adults and stuff, and then they don't. But a lot of adults, like I said, a lot of us, we're living our own lives, doing our own thing, and so we don't think about that a lot of times. And that's just a part of being human, because we got our own junk going on. And that's how everybody is. Once we really realize that we need to be worried about self, governing self, caring about ourselves, self love, all that good stuff, we can handle what's going on in here, and then we can deal and handle with what's going on around, the people who we're around, and so I hope that helps some of you all who are dealing with that, because I went through it too when I was younger. I had no idea what to do, where to go. It's like, what am I supposed to be doing? And sometimes you just need to tell people, I need guidance. Just say that I need guidance, because I really don't know what to do, because some people, they don't get it. Something, if you don't explain it to people, they won't get it sometimes. So, if I can help you, I will. Like I've been helping my spiritual family, you know. Uh, yeah, so you guys are, yes, you guys are going on in the chat here. And let me read what you are saying here. Um, Queen Ting says at JD, have you tried bone broth? You can get grass fed animal bones as well. I learned that today. Good for collagen and protein. Yes. Queen Ting says we're here to help each other. Yes. Offset says when I digest meat, it seems to stay in my chest, but becoming vegan, I don't have acid reflux anymore. Exactly, exactly, exactly. So, that's what I was like saying that to me. I was like, it has to be the meat because when I quit eating the meat, I didn't have acid reflux anymore. All that stuff went away. So it has to be something better than meat out there, so I don't lose muscle mass like JD was saying or whatever. It's got to be something than that, because that I'm gonna look into that. But yes, I just can't deal with the meat. Truly Jada says, I'm not far, I'm in Arlington. Okay, okay, I love Arlington. Six Flags. I was a Six Flags baby, and I used to love that waterlog ride. I was always on that waterlog ride, and they would get mad at me because they'd be like, every time we come to Six Flags and we spend money on y'all, all you want to do is get on the water logs. You know what I mean? And yeah, I wonder if they still got that little cavern, the little waterlog cavern. Yes, Offset says, I'm more of an alkaline vegan. I don't eat any fruit that don't have seeds. Good for you. Good for you. Oh yeah, and that's what we were talking about on Facebook Data too. Too. Another reason why I'm making this video, y'all. Oh, you guys are in here. Hit the thumbs up and everything. Hit the like button. So it lets my video get seen, and you guys share this video too, if you like it and everything, because this is a truther channel, so YouTube is not, I'm not really favored on here. Okay, like as soon as my videos are uploaded, they're limited, so that means they usually wait a day and have someone verify my videos is okay before they actually let me monetize them, which is sad, but that's true. So yeah, so you guys like it and share this video on your page, Facebook or whatever like that. That would really help a lot, because YouTube only is going to give this channel so many views. My ASMR channel gets a lot of views. I mean, sucking a lollipop, there's really not too much to think about right there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but this channel, they're not a fan of it. So, like I said, I got some ASMR videos that I'm going to be uploading. Been a busy lady today, and I want you guys, to subscribe to that and everything. Information to be in the description box. If not right away, then on the video previously. And it'll have all the information, the other stuff that I'm doing here on social media too. Not everything, but some things. I have several businesses online, but I don't advertise all of them. Some of those businesses don't have me connected to it, because I know a lot of people feel a certain type of way about Miss High Priestess Kathy, and not being a Christian and all that, but so people judge you. But yeah, if you're going to be out here and you have a store and all that stuff, you need to have something behind the scenes that doesn't have your name on it, spiritual family. And that goes to what I was saying, the topic of this video. Spirituality, the food that we eat affects us. If you're not eating the right foods, then how are you going to be able to manage your businesses, or your businesses, or the people that work for you? How are you going to do all this stuff if you're sick all the time? and society doesn't want us to really be concerned about our foods and stuff because they're making so much money off of us being ignorant about it and not doing the research about it, and just trusting in the government to feed us correctly. And the government does not have our true health, in as a concern. They just don't. If they did, we wouldn't be having this situation. Black people in America would be protected. It wouldn't be so many black people of COVID dying, okay, because they actually care about the people in this country, you know. So yeah, this is a capitalist country. I guess maybe it's a slash socialist country now, whatever. But definitely, it's a money-driven economy, a money-driven nation. So we need to make sure that we are putting good stuff in our body spiritually, so we can ward off spiritual attacks, so we can ward off people trying to make money off of our body parts, make money off of us from being sick. Because I used to take this inhaler, uh, and it was Symbicort. That inhaler cost so much money, y'all. And but that was the only thing that was really keeping me out of the hospital or keeping me alive. And at the time, I wasn't smoking, and I wasn't smoking weed or anything at that time. So, I didn't understand why was I just really still having problems with my breathing like that. And, I did some more research and stuff like that. And if anything, I will say about Pfizer and all that, those drug company groups, the only thing they're really good for is investing in. It- really, that's the only thing they're good for is investing in. You'll make some money from those drug companies, but other than that, they are making money off of Americans being sick, and that's the reason why they don't want. You have to have doctor's releases for this. You have to go see the doctor to be released for that. And don't get me wrong, if you're going through that right now and you need help medically, you need to do that. You need to go through that and take your medication or whatever until you get better. But you need to be eating right. You need to be eating more, more vegetables, fresh salads, without a lot of fat dressings and stuff like that. Just stuff, good stuff for yourself. Soups, you can easily make a good soup, and like I said, I got a video coming that I'm making, that I've already made actually, and it's my Oshun vegetable ritual soup recipe. And, basically it's just, herbs and good stuff in it, it basically keep you full. And it helps to detox you too. So it's not going to like stop you up or anything. It's good for you, good stuff for you, just natural, organic, good stuff. And we need to have that. We need to be telling our people that. A lot of people, like I see, they're so beautiful and stuff like that. A lot of our people, we're just beautiful people, inside and out. And so yeah. But if you mess up the outside, and you're not spiritually available to connect with people and help people and do stuff like that, then you miss out on a lot. You miss out on a lot of your blessings. You die a premature death. All of that stuff. While these people, who they live long lives. Their family's healthy, and like I said, they're not eating that food. They are not eating that food. That same stuff that they're selling, that fake food stuff, the snacky snack stuff. Yeah, they're not eating that. No, they know better than that. That's why they made rap snacks. They made that crap, to market to black people because they figure, oh yeah, we'll eat anything. And then they got these rappers and stuff behind it. Like I said, I tasted those rap snacks, y'all. It was so nasty. I threw all of them away. I was disgusted. I was really disgusted. I said, that stuff tastes like some cheap dirt. to me, but if you're used to eating crap like that all the time, it will probably taste good to you. But I was like, that is just like that'll kill you. You keep eating that stuff. And like I said, I couldn't even put it in my Amazon store, y'all. Y'all know I got a little Amazon store where I got a vegan section, organic food section, and you guys can go through my Amazon store and check out the stuff that I've actually tried, which is good, so I'll put it in there. If I buy it from Amazon, if you see it in there, 8 times out of 10, I've bought it, especially the organic food and snack stuff you see. So it's good. And so you guys can go through there in my store and try it. But other than that, I wouldn't trust it. I don't trust it. And, like a sister witch over on Facebook was saying, if it don't have seeds too, don't trust it. I think somebody else said it here in the live, y'all. If it don't have seeds, don't trust it. Yes, and Offset says mucus weakens your immune system. Yes, it does. Yes, that's the reason why I want to get away from cheese a lot instead of eating like cheese from cows. I want to eat like vegan cheese and stuff. And like I said, I've grown fond of vegan cheese, but every now and then, I might have feta cheese or something like that. But I'm trying to get away from dairy completely too. I don't drink milk, you know, so I get my calcium, from other ways, and I just don't want it. Yeah. Offset says, I've tried grass fed meat and it's made me sick. The smell, yuck. I just gave up and went alkaline vegan. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird too because, like, I was a hamburger girl and I remember they had got my order wrong at Burger King, and so I put, I thought it was a vegan patty, but when I warmed it up, which I'm glad I warmed it up for, I noticed it was smelling different. It kind of made me sick, and I was like, looking at it, and I was like, this ain't no vegan patty. I said, this is meat. I said, because it smelled like a straight up somebody frying something on the stove when I put it in my air fryer. So yeah, like, yeah. I don't like. That's why I was like asking this one girl too. I was like, do you date people that eat meat? How does that work out? Because I have. I'm not. I'm not. I haven't dated anyone seriously that eats meat since I went vegan. So I don't know how that would work out. But like if I go out to eat with people, now if they eat meat, I don't say anything about it. I don't care about it. But I'm like wondering how would it be if, we were living together and they were in there frying pork chops and stuff in the morning. That stuff make me sick now. I can't stand to smell it. That's gonna like that stuff don't smell good at all to me anymore. And it will do that to you. A lot of people will tell you that too. Once you go plant-based and vegan, you won't want meat like that anymore. Let me see. Truly, Offset says, and since becoming vegan, my dreams are more vivid now. And I remember them more. Yeah, me too. Me too. I feel like, my magic is just off the chain. That's the way I feel. Like my hands, like, it's just so powerful now. Like, I just some of the stuff I can do now I wasn't able to do before. I was like, yeah, dang, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, girl, you did that. Like, yeah, and like the power of the mind and everything like that. Like, all of that stuff is like, running into place. And that's why I said, like, now it's like when I sense, like, maybe I've had too much bread or something like that, it's like my body be like aware, like, hello, hello, we need to cut back on this. Hello, hello. It's like I hear it. Where before I really didn't hear it because I would put on weight, like, and then people were like, you look like been put on weight. I wouldn't notice it until like I take a picture and see it or somebody say something. You know what I mean? So now it's like, we're more in tune with spirit, with our ancestors too and stuff like that. Like, yeah, our spiritual health is very important so we can, you know, um, assist people properly spiritually. That's so true. It's so true. Yes, Maximilian Stevens, welcome, Maximilian, welcome. He says, "Hi, Priestess Kathy. Hi, hun. Thank you for stopping in." And Queen Ting says, "Wrap snacks are very salty." Yes, yes. Not only salty, girl, they were like sweet. Like, I'm like, this is a diabetic snack. Girl, I was like, this a straight up diabetic snack. Wait, diabetes waiting to happen in the package, honey. Yes. Offset says, "My husband eat meat." Hey, Offset, are you on Facebook? Is that you? Royalty over there on Facebook. Is that you? Queen Ting says, "You got this. Don't be hard on yourself. Who cares if you slip up? Just keep fighting." That's right. That's right. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Yes. Yes, you got to keep going. If you fall off one day, get back on, you know. And Offset Haru says, "I'm on Facebook." Yeah, that's you, girl, right? You was talking to me on Facebook that one day and telling me about your husband and stuff. And he eats meat and you don't eat meat and y'all been together. Girl, I knew that was you, girl. I could feel your spirit, girl. I knew that was you, girl. I could just feel your spirit. You got a different name, but that spirit, girl. Yes, yes. Yeah, she said they keep you in jail. Girl, why you in Facebook jail? They need to leave people alone. Facebook be tripping. Like, why they be worried about us so-called little people? Now, it's because we be telling the truth on our pages, right? They don't want the truth, girl. They don't want you to tell the truth on your page. Girl, they don't want you to tell the truth on your page. They be over there. They probably got a special person assigned to your page, like they got to my page too, right? Girl, they probably be like, "Oh my gosh, there she go again, talking that conspiracy theory stuff." Girl, I don't know. Girl, so many sister witches done been blocked on Facebook, and just now they done went on over to Instagram and just gave Facebook a later. My main sister witch, she over on Instagram more than Facebook now. If I want to see her stuff, I gotta find her on Instagram. And I was like, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, they got certain people assigned to us. They've been watching us for years. Like, especially the those of us who were first awakened, which I'm sure you was in the early group that was awakened and stuff. We was seeing what was going on in the world and all that, and we were so mad and everything. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. They do not want the truth out. They don't want the truth out. They don't, girl. Keep sliding it in when you can, girl. If you have to, go on and make another Facebook page like I had to. Go on and make another Facebook page, girl, like I had to. Shoot. Somebody said something about like Facebook got like how many people on it? Like so many it's like a millions or something. And I'm thinking to myself, and that's not the true number. It's usually everybody got an extra Facebook account or two or three. So, you need to really divide that, and that's the actual number of people that's on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like everybody got that extra account. Come on, y'all. Y'all don't hear me though. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Everybody got the extra account. Yes, yes. Shoot, especially shoot. Somebody you used to didn't like or whatever, and you just happen don't even be thinking about it sometimes, and that old account will pop up, and then you be thinking, shoot, let me see what this heifer doing over here. See if she's still on Facebook. Oh, what I'm saying? Now you don't went on with your new account doing your own thing, but every now and then you kind of check back and see what's going on with the old account. Oh gosh, let me see. Offset says Facebook got pretty smart. Most new accounts have to be real name. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what happened with my one account. I went ahead and verified it because I'm like, well, shoot, I ain't got nothing to hide really anyway. So, might as well. And so, they tracking most of us anyway. So, and I know this one chick, uh, she be having new accounts all the time. She just refused to let Facebook, catch her where she have to verify stuff. She ain't even trying to do that because I'm like, I don't know how many times she done sent me a friend invite with a different account. I'm like, girl, again? I'm like, whoever it is you ticked off, girl. She's like, yeah, girl, they done reported my Facebook again. I'm like, that is a shame. And Facebook, they be getting a kick out of it, putting people in Facebook jail. That's probably the highlight of those workers' lives over there that be watching us. Shoot, they be loving to have a chance to put us in Facebook jail. Shoot. Shoot. Mike Zuckerberg, he already in Facebook jail with his wife. Oh, did I say that? Ooh, I didn't say that. Y'all didn't hear that from me. That was one of my old messy ancestors talking. Says, I get into it a lot with Christian people on Facebook. They always attack me saying I work for the devil. Oh my gosh, yeah, they do that to me too. Yeah. Shoot. That's why you know, my one friend, you know, I was, when I had to tell, Papi Chulo, I told him, I said, he's such a great man and everything, such a good man. And, I told him, I said, I didn't want to, lie to him and everything. I said, I wanted to show him, what I do and stuff like that, And he didn't judge me, but like, he knew I had a Facebook, but I never would give him my Facebook. And he always would say stuff about my Facebook, and I was, just play like I didn't hear him or be doing something else. And then, like that last time that I had contacted him before it was anything, because he was supposed to be picking up my stuff or whatever. But before I said anything really more, all he said was, "What's your Facebook?" Like straight off the bat, like I ain't even saying hello to you until I see your Facebook. So yeah, he's on my Facebook. So yeah, and so I think he's good. So and everything like that. But yeah, like I said, we're just really really good friends. He's living in a different city. If we was in the same city, we'd probably be making it pop off. But we're in different cities now and everything like that. But he's just he's Aztec too, you know what I'm saying? Papa Chulo, and so anyway, girl, yeah, so yeah, girl, keep spreading your truth on your Facebook page. That's what I'm doing too. That's what I'm doing too. It's my truth. People may not like it, and it is what it is, you know. And so let me see, you guys. I've been on here like for about an hour, and I'm going to be on here for about like maybe 5 or 10 more minutes. So if you guys want me to do like a one um, answer, like if you have one question, I'll do like a quick reading for you and see what Spirit says. But you have to, of course, give a little donation, if you want at least, $10 or something like that. If you give a little donation, I give you a quick reading. So I'm gonna stay in here for about 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and get off of here because I do have a session set up for tonight. I need to get to later on, but I'm feeling the spirit and everything, and I'm feeling real good. My vibrations are high and everything like that. And so, I feel like maybe one of you have something that you want to ask or something like that. And, we can get this here right now, if you want to do that. And you guys, make sure you hit the thumbs up. I appreciate you all coming in here. Hit the thumbs up. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to read who's been here in the chat, okay? And who stopped in today, because I want to thank you all for stopping in, spiritual family. If it wasn't for y'all stopping in here and helping my channel, I wouldn't be getting my new subscribers and stuff like that. Because of y'all, I'm almost at 20,000 subscribers now, which is not a lot to everybody, but I'm thankful for it, like as a truther channel and me not really being like consistent all the time with this channel. This channel has been up for a while. What I can say is that I've gotten a lot of business through me having my channel, and also meeting beautiful people who are now my spiritual family. So everything happens for a reason. I'm just glad that I didn't give up on YouTube like I was seriously thinking about, for a while there. So now I see the reason why I'm still here, because this is supposed to happen. This was supposed to happen. So, I'm here, and you guys know how I am. If you have something personal you want to talk about or private, if you want to know about how to get initiated and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't initiate people, but I know a Babalao from Chi-Town who's very, very reputable, very good. He's very real. And if you're interested in getting initiated or something like that, I can connect you to him. If you actually are wanting to be a part of my coven, my elite circle coven, I have a video that'll be in the description box. It is already in the previous video if you want to check it out. It'll have how you can join my elite circle coven and everything like that. And I'm taking interviews for that. All it is $60 for 30 minutes, and I'll just give you an interview, and we'll go over your needs and what you're looking for and things like that. And I'll let you know if you're approved and how much it's going to be a month and everything like that. That information is already on that video. If you'd like to just see how much it's going to be and all that, and the perks and stuff you're going to get, and what you're going to get when you join, all of that good stuff. All that good stuff is going to be there. And so I already have a couple of people who've joined already, and you know who you are. I appreciate you so much. And we are definitely going to have our ritual on October the 31st. And I'm going to be dressed up, and I'm kind of feeling, you guys know I wanted to do the kitty cat, but I am kind of feeling like Madame Brigitte. So I'm already thinking about getting my top hat on Amazon, okay? So I'm gonna have that in my Amazon store too. So if you wanna dress up as Madame Brigitte or a kitty cat, I have some costume stuff for Halloween in my store, Magical and Beautiful Things. All that will be in my description box. And so let me just say, Darius, I want to thank you so much for stopping in, love. You are so important to me. I appreciate everything that you've done for me, helping me. And he is also one of my moderators. And we got Barbie. Barbie is my number one moderator. Barbie, I love you, girl. She has been sticking around here with me. She gets, people moving and stuff like that. And, she helps, me keep the chat going and everything like that. So I appreciate you, girl. And then we got Luna Santos. Luna Santos, she's been here with me for a little while now, and I always welcome you, girl. Keep stopping in and sharing your beautiful energy with us. And we got Queen Things. Queen Things, I welcome you again. I hope you come back again. You guys, I'm definitely going to try to be on again tomorrow night. So far, you guys are wanting 8:30. You guys want me to be in at 8:30? So I'm going to do my best to try to be on live at 8:30. Now, if it's not 8:30, it's going to be between 8:30 and 10:30, okay? But we're going to do that time slot because I want to be consistent for y'all. I want to be here. Like I said, I'm going full time with this, so I need to be consistent so you guys know where I am, and yes, and then we got JD Belly. JD Belly, thank you so much for stopping through. And please come back and keep spreading your knowledge about your story, with you being plant based, vegan, and then you're deciding you don't want to do that anymore. You can share with us like what you're eating now, different things like that, because what we eat does affect us spiritually, how we move, how we walk, how we breathe, how we protect ourselves from people. You can't protect yourself from someone who's coming to get you a lot of times. If you're a sick person, you need someone to stand in for you. You need someone to help you, and that's what I do. There's been a lot of people in my family. Like I said, that's what we do. And so you definitely want that hedge of protection around you. You want somebody, that sincerely that has your best interest at heart and not just trying to get you for your money. You know what I mean? So, just like I care about you all on this channel and I share whatever I go through, I know, if I get a blessing or something, I share with y'all. And just us exchanging knowledge. JD Billy, yes, come back and keep spreading your knowledge with us because a lot of people need to know that. And let's see here. Beautiful soul, Christy, girl, I care about you. I love you, girl. Thank you so much, for your donations and everything like that. And you sending your love to me. And, I thank you. I really do. Yes. And truly, Jada, girl, yes, I am definitely going to be checking out that Dallas Farmers Market, girl. I can't wait. I can't wait. And I'm definitely going to be taking some video and some pictures of me having that experience. Yes, and Offset Het Haru, girl, thank you so much for stopping through. Girl, I thank you. I appreciate you sharing your truth and your energy with us tonight, and that is your most important currency and all that good stuff is the energy that you share. So you guys sharing your truth is helping a lot of people that watch this channel, and I appreciate y'all. And let's see here. I think that's everybody who showed up tonight. And Betty Hall. Welcome, Betty Hall. Thank you so much for stopping in. And I am going to get ready to get off of here. But yes, Betty Hall. Betty Hall says, it's my first time here. I just stumbled upon you. Well, welcome, welcome. Yes, and Lamont TV just caught the end. Don't worry, Lamont. I'm gonna be back on tomorrow night too, and everything. It's official. Everybody is wanting me to go live around 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, if you're Eastern Time, I think you're ahead of me. So, it's gonna be. Central Standard Time. And like I said, if I don't make it at the 8:30, I'll be in between 8:30 and 10:30. So I'm specifically saving that block of time so that we all can connect. So I don't miss you guys because y'all keep messaging me and telling me, when are you on? I'm missing you just like you are right now, right? So that's what I'm going to have to start doing. And setting a timer so you guys can find me. So I'm trying to, go on at least 5 times a week during the evening so we can connect and stay, connected and keep growing with each other and all that good stuff. So yes, yes. Yes, Betty Hall. Yes, yes. We're talking about spiritual warfare too. Yes, definitely. So, yeah, if you're gonna fight the good fight, if you're gonna protect yourself and stuff like that, you have to be eating the right stuff. We have to be eating the right foods. What we eat affects us spiritually. Yes, yes. What we eat affects us spiritually. Yes, and that's 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Betty. And I want to thank you all for stopping in tonight. I appreciate you all. Love you, spiritual family. And I'm going to be back on tomorrow night, which will be Friday night. So your girl's going to be ready. And I'm thinking about having a different hairstyle for you guys to take a look at and all that good stuff. So I ain't going to spoil it. But I'll check y'all out tomorrow, okay? So thank you all for stopping in. I appreciate y'all. And bye, everyone. Y'all have a good night. And bye, Barbie. See you later, girl. Bye.